Hello, everyone. This is Brittany Duty. I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping things. Welcome to the webinar. This discussion is being conducted under the competition guidelines adopted by Rx-360, which are applicable in the United States as well as the European Union. You are all advised to refrain from any discussion that could be perceived as commercially sensitive, such as prices and market shares. If you have questions, please use the Q&A button in the top right corner, and we will periodically answer questions. This session is being recorded, and it will be posted on the Rx-360 website. Otherwise, I think we're ready to get started. Ms. Pitts, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Duty. Hi, my name is Nicole Pitts. I'm the Rx-360 Program Manager for the AuditsPLUS database. I thank you for taking time out of your day to sit in on this. This is something we are very excited to be sharing with everyone. I trust that you will find this very beneficial to you all as well. We are going to start this morning with going over a little background information before we dive into the Rx-360 Plus database training. One thing that we've noticed on the AOG is when discussing the AuditsPLUS database, the process. A lot of the members thought they knew the process, but were missing several of the steps to actually go through and request an audit. So let's get started. Here's just have you utilized Rx-360 audits lately? This is just a little display of how we've changed from when we started until where we are now. A couple of changes were before was using multiple qualified auditing firms. Now we only use one single dedicated qualified audit firm, which is BSI. One of the other things is the audit program managed by a law firm, Drinker, Biddle, and Reith. We have actually transitioned over to a more traditional organizational structure, which is we hired a CEO, and we actually hired a quality manager, project managers, a marketing leader, and we're using an outside legal counsel. The AuditsPLUS database at the time was complex. Now we've made it more simplified and user-friendly. The audit standards, the APIs, recipients of raw materials. Now we're adding in GDP, data integrity, and soon we will have medical device and several others. Cost of licensing in the beginning was $5,000 for non-members and $25 for members. Now the cost to license audit reports is $25 for both the members and non-members, as long as it's a member site. We just recently updated our website. And this is better functional design, organization of materials, and looks and feels better. And I suggest if you haven't gone to that website, please go in and register as a member, and you can have all the documents and downloads. Waiting process to obtain co-sponsors for audits. We've gotten proactive strategies that we're looking to do to try to get more co-sponsors on those audits. We're doing, reaching out to the suppliers to try to get co-sponsors. We're reaching out to members to see if we can get them to co-sponsor and asking for their 2018 on list of audits. So those are just a couple things that we're working on. Rx-360 Joint Audit Program. The concept was supplier quality audits are conducted on behalf of member sponsors utilizing preferred third-party auditing service provider, which is BSI. Audit costs are equally divided amongst the audit sponsors. Prior to conducting an audit as well as after the audit, the audited supplier may exclude specific companies from obtaining access to audit reports. Audits may be requested by both manufacturers and suppliers. How the Rx-360 Joint Audit Program meets the fundamental requirements of the audit program. The audit standards. The audit reports, auditor qualifications, addressing specific needs of audit sponsors, and the CAPA follow-up. The Rx-360 Joint Audit Program, how it can benefit you. It can reduce the total number of audits required at a supplier's site, and we have noticed, and I will show in the slides that it is working and how we are reducing the audits at the supplier site. Audit sponsors can save on audit costs by having multiple co-sponsors and benefit from the joint audit sponsor audit credit process. Also, I will have samples of that within this. Utilize a standardized audit approach, audit standard, auditor training, and audit report template approved by member companies, in which we just started a new sub-team that's actually going to be working and improving the audit standards. Completed audit reports are also available for licensing by members and non-member companies within the auditee approval. And those available licensings are actually in the Rx-360 website. There's a list there that you can go in and license the audit reports, or you can go into the AuditsPLUS database where you can go in and license the report. Success story of one of many. Audit of Facility A in 2015. Total of license requests in 2017 was 43, and actually the number has also increased. We re-audited the Facility A in 2017, has 6 co-sponsors and 7 waiting to license this report. As you can see from the success story, that the program is working and is helping reduce the audits on the supplier side. Another success story was 3 co-sponsors audited Facility B on May 2017. By August 2017, all 3 co-sponsors received 100% audit feedback in credits. And one of actually the co-sponsors has used those credits to go in and re-audit another site. So these are just some success stories showing you that the program's working. Rx-360 Joint Audit Program. BSI, British Standards Institution, was partnered with Rx-360 as a preferred service provider to conduct joint audits on behalf of the member co-sponsors. The Rx-360 Audit Operations Subgroup periodically reviews all the auditor qualification requirements to ensure that they are keeping with Rx-360 industry standards. Auditors are assigned to an audit based on qualification and geographical location of auditors and suppliers to be audited. Audit Guidelines. API, excipients, basic chemicals and raw materials, packaging, printing materials, and now we are actually doing good distribution practices. We've actually already done 4. Some of the audit standards are coming soon that we are working on creating is medical device. We actually have a sub-team that we started, a medical device sub-team, that is working on the audit standards in several other projects. EFFC1, Part 117, and Contract Labs are just some of the audit standards that we're looking to come soon. The Rx-360 Joint Audit Program Observations. Rx-360 audit reports categorize observations in 2 types, potentially critical or other. With the potential critical, within 24 hours, BSI will contact us and let us know if there's any critical findings, and we will then contact any sponsors of that audit, letting them know. The joint audit process. Joint audit process. 1. Rx-360 members contact supplier asking to accept an Rx-360 audit. And I just want to emphasize that because I know that several members did not know that this is something that they were supposed to do, and to reach out to the suppliers, asking them and talking to them about Rx-360 and the audit program. 2. Rx-360 members enters into audit requests into the AuditsPLUS. 3. Once minimum numbers of sponsors is satisfied, audit request is sent to suppliers. 4. Rx-360 obtains suppliers agreements, BSI coordinators select and assigns auditor and auditor contact sponsor for audit scope. Five, BSI coordinates contact supplier, conducts pre-audit questionnaire, develops audit plan. 6, auditor conducts audit and notifies supplier of the observations during the closing meeting. 7, auditor reports any potential critical observations to Rx-360 within 24 hours. Rx-360 immediately reports PCO to the sponsor. Sponsor addresses the PCO directly within the supplier separately from Rx-360. Auditor submits audit reports and corresponding documents to AuditsPLUS. Sponsors review report. Auditor sends final report and establishes CAPA plan. BSI follows up and closes out CAPA's. Supplier reports CAPA follow-up to Rx-360. Audit reports and CAPA stored in AuditsPLUS. I'm going to just pause here for a moment and see if we have any questions, and if not, then we can keep moving forward.
Hi, Nicole. I don't see any questions yet.
Okay, good. We'll just keep moving forward. The Rx-360 Joint Audit Licensing. Joint Audit Program audit reports may be licensed to both members and non-members for a fee within the supplier approval. Suppliers determine which organizations may license an audit report through an addendum to the original CDA. A list of reports available for licensing can be found on the Rx-360 website under Audit Programs, or you also can go into the AuditsPLUS database and request to license those audits. Members approved for licensing are provided access to the joint audit reports and corresponding materials through the AuditPLUS. The quality-focused customer satisfaction. We had recently, Rx-360 hired a quality manager and who is helping us and supporting us with this quality focus. Quality management system, enhancement of customer satisfaction. How will this benefit the Rx-360? Quality elements, document control, supplier management, internal audits, management review, training. Serve the joint program, ensure the compliance, proactively identify and solve issues, create environment for continuous improvement. Improve customer satisfaction. The compliance, prepare to file complaints. We have recently implemented this into support any complaints. If you have a complaint, we ask that you email QA support@rx360.org with completed form and support docs. Rx-360 QA review and confirms. Notify with reference number and due date. Completed invoice report for CAPA if applicable. And these forms, actually, you can find them into the AuditsPLUS database. They're located under the documents. AuditsPLUS enhancements. 7 enhancements in AuditsPLUS were actually implemented in. This is testing of the current 7 enhancements in AuditsPLUS have been completed and implemented. These were small little changes and enhancements, as in logos, spelling errors, and things like that. We are now working on 17 new enhancements. Enhancements estimated completion could take up to a minimum of 4 months. We're looking for these enhancements to be done Q1 of 2018 or very beginning of Q2 2018. These 17 enhancements will make different changes. There will be an admin that can go in and actually input co-sponsors on audits, so nothing will be manually tracked anymore. Everything will be actually in the AuditsPLUS database. There's going to be several others that we will be implementing. One of them that is going to be is a note section enhancement. These will be added in by BSI to help with updates on the AuditsPLUS audit report statuses. These are just a couple things that will be inputted into the note section of an audit. So if you're curious of what the status is or what's going on with that audit, you can go into the note section and this will be inputted in there. Also, with one of the enhancements on this, there will be a push out anytime a note is put into this section. It will be pushed out to any sponsor on that audit. Recently, the audit operations team created a joint audit program survey. They want to know, is this program adding value? The Rx-360 Joint Audit Program September 2017 survey results. Survey was in action out of the June 2017 face-to-face. Action resulted from observations that the program was not being utilized, leveraged by members as intended. Initiated to solicitate the voice of the customer to let you know we're listening. Creates a baseline going forward. Survey collected feedback from members who responded on their impression of the audit program. Is the program adding value? A sub-team was formed to identify the top 5 issues to be addressed based on the survey response. The top 5 goals to address the issues identified by priority. 1, providing status updates, preferably push to sponsors on an open or outstanding request. As you can see, that's one of the enhancements that we were going to be doing. In the notes section, we'll be pushing out any updates on the statuses of your audits. Another thing that we will be providing is Keygram. We will be printing out reports and sending them to the sponsors of the audits, letting you know, here's a report on all your audits and what the status is of your audits. So we're already working on that one. Getting audit reports done to the sponsors within 30 business days of the audit execution. We have recently signed an SLA with BSI, and that is one thing that we will be pushing for, 30 business days to get you that final audit report. Getting audits completed per sponsor's timeline. We're actually in the process of also with that. That was something that was discussed when signing on the SLA with BSI. Getting requested number of co-sponsors to move forward with a request. One of the things that we're looking for now is non-members are more than welcome to join an audit. If they join that audit, though, they will not receive any credits back. One other thing that we are trying to do with co-sponsors is we are reaching out to the suppliers and asking them if they could give us a list of those interested in co-sponsoring on the audit. And we also reached out to the members trying to get their audit list of which audits they're needing within 2018, and some have given us 2019. Increasing member participation in the program. That is also something we are working on and doing a reach out to each member and letting them know what we have for them within the working groups. Do I have any questions?
Hi, Nicole. We do have a few questions. One statement. One correction is the EFFCI is the standard for European Federation for Cosmetic Ingredients. I think that is. Let's see here. Okay. The first question is, if you request an audit and ask for X number of co-sponsors, but the number is not reached, will Rx-360 come back so that it is possible to change the co-sponsors to be less to ensure that the audit is going ahead anyway?
Yes, and that is one thing we are going to be BSI is going to be reaching out at least 60 days before the audit and letting you know, would you like to move forward if we do not reach full potential of co-sponsors?
Okay, and this question has to do with complaints. What kind of complaints about Rx-360 or the suppliers?
This is complaints about the audit report. If you find that the audit report is late, you can do a complaint to Rx-360 saying, the audit was conducted on this day, you have 30 business days to give it to you, but I still don't have a draft report or I still don't have the audit report. You can send a complaint like that to us. If you feel after reviewing as a sponsor, the audit report was conducted correctly or to the standards that you thought, or is missing materials that you had actually put in the special request form, that is something that you can submit also as a complaint. And just gives you a couple ideas.
One more question. Does Rx-360 have any plans to extend the audit program to pharmaceutical manufacturers, example, aesthetically filled finished products?
We haven't discussed that, but I'm sure that's something I can bring back to the audit operations group and have a discussion on it.
Okay, next question. If issues impact approval or use of suppliers, is a result shared to all Rx-360 participants or just to those involved in the actual audit?
Those just actually involved in that audit.
In general, are suppliers receptive to Rx-360 audits?
Yes, we believe that when you reach out to the suppliers, and what we usually do is we will give you a toolkit, a letter, and information to send to them, giving a little background on Rx-360 and what we do and what we will provide them. We find that suppliers are more than likely to let us in. We feel if you don't reach out to them, we have a harder time getting in to that site.
Okay, next one. Are the audit templates available pre-audit?
Yes. So the audit templates are actually all listed in the Rx-360 website. You can find all the standards and templates in there. You should also, I believe they're also located in the AuditsPLUS database under the documents. And if not, that is the place we can actually upload them.
Can that link be shared?
Yes, I can share that.
Okay. In terms of CAPA, what is Rx-360's stance when suppliers do not intend to respond to observations?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Sure. In terms of CAPA, what is Rx-360's stance when suppliers do not intend to respond to observations?
I think that's more of on the BSI to actually respond to, and I will take note of that, and I will respond later with an email.
Thank you. Okay. Can you speak more about the medical device audit standards that's being created?
So yes, so we just recently started a medical device working group, and what we're doing, our first project actually is not going to be the standards. I believe that is our third project, but they're going to be working on the medical device standard, and I'm not sure exactly the correct one, but I can get that information to you.
Okay. How does BSI use the information from audits?
I'm sorry, you broke up?
Okay. How does BSI use the information from audits?
Not sure that question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tracy.
Hi, this is Tracy Cooper. I am one of the audit operations co-chairs. I am with Johnson & Johnson, and I do want to add a couple comments in to support the presentation. For the question, how does BSI use the audit information? BSI is hired as an audit firm and a partner with Rx-360, and they conduct the audits, provide the information back to the sponsors of the audit report, follow up on the CAPA, and I do want to expand on the question that was asked in regards to the CAPA program. BSI does follow up as the CAPAs are due in real time and report the status of the CAPAs back to the sponsors by adding the status of the CAPAs into the database and notifying the sponsor. So I just wanted to add that information to support some of the questions that are coming through.
Thank you, Tracy.
And BSI isn't, utilizing the audit information in any additional capacity or format other than the process that's defined by Rx-360.
Okay, we have a few more questions. Will all CAPAs be followed up to completion?
Yes, BSI follows up on those CAPAs into completion.
For potential criticals, do you demand an immediate CAPA response?
Tracy, would you be able to help on
Yeah.
that one also?
Yes, there is I would have to pull the procedure, but there is a specific time frame for a response for potentially critical. It is sooner, of course, than the 30 business days for the regular CAPA responses. I don't want to quote you a specific time frame, but it's somewhere between 10 to 15 days. So the answer is yes. We do require an immediate response back for any potentially critical observations. We'll follow up and get you the exact timing out of the procedure.
Thank you. Can you repeat the answer to the Rx-360 stance when suppliers do not respond to CAPAs?
So the process for CAPA responses is that BSI does reach out to the supplier in order to obtain a response on the CAPAs. They work with the suppliers in order to get a response. If for some reason that they are not able, if the supplier is non-responsive, then BSI does reach back out to the sponsors of that audit, the member companies, and ask them to intervene and to reach out directly with the suppliers in order to secure a response. So you would then follow your own corporate policies for obtaining a corrective action plan from a supplier when the supplier is non-responsive.
Thank you. If CAPAs are followed up to completion, if the audit report is licensed, will the CAPA completion be shared with the licensee?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Who is responsible for follow-up on audit findings, BSI or the sponsors?
Audit findings are usually followed up with BSI.
Okay. There are times we ask to join the audit, but if the system is close for us to access the audit information using the system, all communication and documentation on email.
Can you repeat that question, Brittany?
I think it may just be a statement. I'm not sure that it's actually a question. There are times we ask to join an audit, but if the system is closed for us to access the audit information using the system, all communication and documentation on email.
Yeah, so that's one of the actually enhancements we are working on, is to allow later on to be, if you wanted to sponsor or co-sponsor an audit, to be able to come into the audit once it's in process. And also, one of the enhancements we're doing is to be able to license the audit reports before CAPA is closed out. So you'll be able to, a lot of the manual tracking that we're doing now will no longer exist, that you'll be able to get into the database and be able to have access to it.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions for now.
Okay, the second half of the webinar is just background training. And this is just a reminder that before entering any audit request, step one, first step before inputting audit request, contact the supplier to request a participation in an Rx-360 joint audit program. Step two, teach them the benefits of having an Rx-360 audit. And step three, provide Rx-360 standard slide decks to provide them with more information about Rx-360 and our mission. How to enter into audit requests. Log into your AuditsPLUS account. You will be logged into your member joint audit library. Click on the new audit proposal to begin new audit request entry. How to enter an audit request easy. Enter supplier details. Either search for a current supplier by typing in the name and selecting the appropriate location. 2. Enter the supplier information to the right and create a new site. New locations will be conditional until the information is approved by the coordinator on anyone that is new supplier. Click Next to move to next field once all location information has been entered. And with another one of the enhancements that we will be putting in, it is going to make you put in the address and contact information before it will move forward. How to enter an audit request. Enter one material by typing in the material name and selecting the type of materials from the drop-down. With all the new audit standards and information, we'll be adding those as enhancements to this part. Click on Add Materials to add in any additional materials. Click Next to move forward once all materials requested have been entered. How to enter an audit request easy. 1. Select the audit start date. Another enhancement that we're working on right now is the start date will be expanded to 3 to 5 years out. So you'll be able to put audits that you're looking for in the next 3 years into the system. System will trigger warning if audit is within 6 months. This is what one of the questions were about the co-sponsors. The system is going to trigger in the system that is 6 months out. During that time, BSI will contact you asking, would you like to move forward as a sole sponsor or with just 2 co-sponsors, or did you want to wait and see if we get more co-sponsors to this? Click Next to move to the following fields. Select how many co-sponsors you desire. Sole sponsors only your company will sponsor. 2, you and 1 other co-sponsor will share audit costs. Note, if you select any option other than sole sponsor and choose a later time to become a sole sponsor, this will require a manual adjustment in the system. Should the audit be in a proposed status, the amount of the co-sponsor requested can still be adjusted. Entering the site contact information. Name and email address are mandatory. This will be a mandatory field in the enhancements. You are required to put this information in. Special instructions may include any additional materials and their type which could not be fit. Batch number, specific areas to pay attention to on materials or the site. How to enter an audit request advanced. Enter supplier information. Enter all materials requested. Click Add Materials to add any additional materials. Select the audit start date. Select the number of preferred co-sponsors. Enter site contact name and email address. Enter in any special request. The final results. So this will be, once you click Next, this is the information you will have. How do you join a current audit? From your dashboard, click on All Joint Audits. Under Proposal Gathering Co-Sponsors Proposed, find the audit you wish to join and click on the site name. In the Pacific site entry validated that all information matches with your internal records and click on Become a Co-Sponsor. Add any additional materials. Select any current materials entered which also apply to your scope. Select the audit start date for your internal procedures. Select the amount of co-sponsors for your internal needs. Should you have additional contact information, please enter in the information. click Join Audit. It really helps if there is already information, but maybe you have another point of contact to add this information in when BSI and Rx-360 reach out to the supplier. After you finalize the results, this is what your screen should look like. How to join a current audit that is matched. Manual co-sponsorship. Reach out to Nicole Pitts or Emily Ward to be added into the audit. Members will be added in as a licensee. Non-members will be added as guests. Enhancement to program will allow for additional co-sponsors to be added in. If manual co-sponsor is requested within 30 days of the scheduled audit date, sponsors will need to request to license final audit report. Again, this is one of the enhancements that we will no longer have to manually co-sponsor, put you in, that we'll actually be able to, as admin, put you into the audit as a sponsor, or co-sponsor, I'm sorry. Nothing will be manually tracked. How to license an audit. From your dashboard under completed audit, select which location you're interested in licensing. From the individual entry, validate all materials and site address for the request and click on the request license. To finalize the process, click on Create License Request. Final results. How to withdraw from an audit. Note, audits may only be withdrawn from in proposed status. Find the location you wish to withdraw from and click on the name. Within the specific audit request, click on Edit, click on Leave Audit. After alert to ensure removal is accurate, click Leave Audit. Final results. AuditsPLUS status indicators. Conditional. New audit requested looks for matching. Administrator will move to propose once information is verified. Proposed. Audit is looking for additional co-sponsors. Pending. Required number of co-sponsors is met. Waiting for BSI to send initial contact to site. Matching. BSI has sent initial contact to suppliers. And these also, you'll be able to find the status indicators inside AuditsPLUS under Documents. Requested. And we will also be adding in a new status indicators in the enhancements. A couple will allow you to go in before the CAPA has been implemented and go into license. I'm going to pause here and see if there's any questions.
We do have a few questions. Is it possible to have more co-sponsors than what was requested in the future?
Yes. One of the things that we do on the audit operations team is we send out an Excel sheet looking for co-sponsors on these audits. And even if it's in matching stage and you've requested 2, we always push it out to see if we can get more to co-sponsor to help.
Okay. Looks as if it is possible to enter a supplier multiple times into the system. Does the coordinator eliminate duplicates?
Yes. You do go in and make, if there's 2 identical ones, we will go in and delete 1.
Okay, let's see. Can you define what license means?
So to license an audit report, these audits are actually in completed stage or reporting stage. To license an audit report means that you are not a sponsor or co-sponsor of the audit. You can go in and license the report for $2,500 if you are a member or if it's a member site. If you are a non-member and it is a non-member site, the cost of to license that report is $5,000. The difference between licensing and actually being a sponsor or co-sponsor is one of the things is as a member and sponsor of an audit, you will receive credits back. And as a non-member, you will receive no credit. And actually, as a licensee, also, if you license an audit report, you won't get say in the scope of the audit. The sponsors and co-sponsors actually put the scope of the audit into that audit report.
Okay. How often do you re-audit suppliers?
We are re-auditing, we're taking an initiative right now, auditing those suppliers every 3 years.
How long do on-site audits last?
It all depends on what the scope of the audit is. Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe APIs, we try 4 days on site, and any of the others, I believe, 2 days.
Okay, and I have unmuted Song. We have a question for Hannah. She's our policy manager at Rx-360. Hannah, can you please confirm how many days the auditee has to respond to a potentially critical observation?
Hi everybody, this is Hannah Song. So I have checked our procedure, and this is actually one area we are going to do continuous improvement. We are conducting another document review for our joint audit program SOP, and this is something we will add. So the practice that BSI is doing is they will follow up within 10 to 15 business days, but we are going to add this specific requirement to the SOP and also to the service level agreement. So we don't have anything the procedure for now, but we will have it. This will be completed by the end of this month.
Thank you, Hannah.
And is my
Tracy, I've unmuted.
Thank you. So whenever a potentially critical observation is found, BSI and the auditor has 24 hours in order to notify the sponsor company. And at that point, what the process would look like is that working with the sponsor's urgency regarding the issue, we can utilize the time frame that the sponsor is recommending that the supplier respond to a potentially critical observation. We plan to revise the procedure by the end of the year, and we can put some guidance in there. But because each sponsor's company, one potentially critical observation may apply to one sponsor company and not to another, so we do leave that flexibility in the process. But to Hannah's point, we are revising that procedure now, and we can add some guidance in there by the end of the year.
Okay, another question. You mentioned suppliers are audited every 2 years. Is that automatic, or does the sponsor need to request it?
That is actually an automatic. Every 3 years, we are putting them, Rx-360 is manually putting them into the system, looking for co-sponsors on those audits. And several of the re-audits, we put in recently 10 to re-audit, and we, out of that 10, I believe 8 suppliers were accepted the Rx-360 audit and look forward to having us re-audit their facility and already confirmed dates for Q1 2018.
Okay, we have one more question. Let me pull that up. Once a request for an audit is made, what is the timing is being scheduled?
The timing that is being scheduled depends on what was put into the database of when you're looking for that audit to be conducted.
Okay. If my company stops using a supplier, how do I remove myself from co-sponsoring?
That would be going in and actually, you can either request it by Emily and I. You can shoot us an email and saying that we no longer want to be part of this audit, or you can actually go in and remove yourself as a co-sponsor from the database.
I think that's all the questions for now.
Okay. I believe that's all I have. I just want to take this time and say thank you to everyone that sat through the webinar today. And should you have any questions or comments or need more information, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or anyone here at Rx-360. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you.